Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. Today I have two very special guests, Stella Mar.
Hello.
And Nick.
What's good?
There we go. So first of all, how do you guys know each other?
We met in college. We both lived on the same floor freshman year.
Ooh.
And
Stella invited me to a demonic card game. It's not demonic, just torturous. It's like punitive. That's the word I was looking for. It's like brutal for people who don't know how to play it.
It's called Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, basically, my friend and I who went to college together did a little icebreaker thing where we invited everyone on the floor to play a card game where you don't know the rules of the card game. You just try to figure them out. And it made everyone immediately very angry with us.
Messed up.
5 years later, here Nick and I are making music together.
Shout out that card game.
Yeah.
For real.
So do you guys both make music, or are you kind of her Stella's manager, Nick, or how does it work?
It's very, I'd say it's equal in terms of like creative, artistic driving force. Stella does all the lyrics and the melodies and all of like what you would consider like proper songwriting, and then I'll do all the arrangements, all the production, all the instruments, stuff like that.
Yeah, our process is kind of interesting because it's either one way or it's completely the opposite. I'll either send Nick just a voice memo of me singing like essentially the whole song, just lyric and melody, and then Nick will arrange it from there and send it back, and we'll like kind of go through it and make tweaks. Or Nick will send me a beat and I'll write the whole song for that beat that he's given me. If I need, an extra 4 measures or something somewhere, I'll tell him and he'll adjust. But definitely a truly collaborative process. I don't know how to play really any instruments. I play the ukulele.
Ooh.
And that's about it. So I'd say I need Nick more than he needs me.
Not even.
Nick has released a couple of projects on his own, but yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Are you just a producer then? Or?
Yeah. So I've done a couple of projects with other vocalists, and then I've done some instrumental electronic music that's out as well. Definitely harder to sort of get traction, I think, for instrumental electronic music.
Is that not EDM music?
I used to make EDM when I was in high school, but now it's leans more into probably like what you might call like a trap sort of vibe, I guess.
Do you need like trap artists then, or what do you need art? Do you not even want artists on your songs? Or?
I think for my own personal projects, I really like releasing instrumental electronic music. I think it's like a totally different process than working with somebody like Stella. But obviously I love working with Stella. I love working with vocalists.
Wait, can you repeat the genre you're saying again?
I don't really know what it is. I don't want to be like that annoying guy that's like, I can't be defined by genre, but it's just instrumental electronic music. Sometimes it's trap, sometimes it's like a little funky.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't stray too far from like the production you're hearing on the album that we just put out.
Right.
Obviously, when Nick isn't like shackled by what I want him to do, there's like more, movement, I'd say, to like the songs you're releasing on your own. But like I bop your songs still that you released like 2 years ago.
Appreciate it.
They're pretty sick.
Because electronic music's timeless, right?
Yeah.
You have no idea when it's
so true.
But EDM's huge in Seattle. Well, it's not EDM, it's electronic instrument music.
Right.
Maybe that's your problem. No one knows what to look up that.
Yeah.
Or maybe actually that would be easy to look up, because sometimes I'm very like, for tags, I'm very like specific. So maybe people are specifically looking for electronic instrument music.
I'll tag it trap. Honestly, I will totally tag it trap.
Okay.
But
it's like chill trap almost.
Yeah.
Just say it's rave music and then throw an event and everyone will show up. And they won't know the difference.
Good call. That's brilliant.
People just want to hear music.
Are you interested in managing me as a solo artist?
There we go. Dude, you need to put some hip hop artists on there.
I'd love to. I have a bunch of beats up on the internet for purchase, but that's another thing where it's like, how do you break into that scene? There's people on the internet who are just making money hand over fist by like putting these YouTube beats out there, and rappers are just going crazy over them. But then if you're not like a part of that scene, I think it's extremely tough to gain traction. So
I mean, that's everything though.
That's true.
But
that's
does anyone truly blow up on the internet without any like connection to like a scene or anything?
I don't know.
Probably not.
Like even Justin Bieber, when he was on YouTube, someone found him, and then he started making like music that was on record labels.
I feel like getting noticed for your music is like our generation of like playing the lottery. like trying to go viral on TikTok.
Dude, I just went viral on TikTok.
No way.
Congratulations. Tell us that story. We want to hear about that.
Sick.
We'll get into I broke the system, okay? So I realized most people that blow up on TikTok, there are people that have like genuine like content that's like unique, but a lot of that shit is just fucking dances, or like I hate that shit when people like mouth movie scenes and act like they're talking to their friends or whatever.
So
that's
irritating.
Stupid.
Straight up stealing.
Yeah, so I'm like, if people are gonna steal like that, but they're in the video, how about I just fucking straight up like just use like an old ad or something that's like cringy or funny, and see if that gains traction. It's not that big of a difference compared to what people are doing. They just want their face in the shot. So I've been posting like really edgy ads from like the 90s that like, because the average audience in my opinion is like 5 to 12-year-olds on TikTok. I think TikTok's the new like Nickelodeon or Disney Channel.
Wow, that's deep.
So
well said. I've
been posting like edgy, funny ass ads that like almost could get banned on TikTok, and a few of them have. And they're just ads though. So I mark it as banned ads even if they're not banned or not. And just throw them up on TikTok, and my video right now has 7.6 million views.
Holy shit.
And it's just an old Got Milk ad. And then I post like podcast content also. So like if I know I want something to gain traction, I'll post like a banned ad, and then I'll throw like my podcast right next, like clip right afterward.
You really did beat the system.
You did. That's brilliant.
So now I have, within the past 2 days, 7.6 million views on that, 1.6 million likes overall on the page, and then 50,000 followers. And I had 100 followers last week.
See, but that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, I throw up content all the time. It's not good content. It's just me fucking around or lip syncing to my shit. It's not good. I don't know how to use TikTok. But that's what I'm saying. It's like totally a lottery. Like, you go viral once and you have 50,000 people watching.
Yeah.
I don't think yours was a lottery though. You deliberately gamed it.
You big brain that shit.
No doubt.
But tell me about your guys' new project. Is it it's called White Noise?
Yeah,
and
White Noise.
I feel so lucky to have met you guys at the Pop Retreat, because you guys performed some of the songs off the album. Little did I know you were dropping it like 2 weeks later. I was like, oh shit, it was like a private showing.
For sure.
Nice timing, for sure.
We had a lot of fun playing.
That was so fun.
Sort of like stripped down acoustic versions of these tracks that we've just like been sort of slaving over for like a year.
I'd say closer to 2, dude.
Yeah, it's been pretty insane.
We wrote How Little I Loved You in summer after sophomore year. It's been
I think that's my
years.
favorite song. Is that the one that turns into like an EDM song at the kind of the end?
No, that's Fairweather Friend.
Or Adored. Adored sort of goes EDM at the end. Adored is the last track on the project.
Yeah. I think I almost liked every single song.
Too kind.
That's so nice.
Well, I enjoyed every song, but liked like put them in playlist. Yeah,
very sweet.
See.
So kind.
Do you want to say a bit about the project, Stella?
Yeah, I mean, do you want me to talk?
How I Little I Loved You. That was my favorite song on it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So first of all, this is your first project. You have nothing on SoundCloud or YouTube, do you?
No. I've worked with other artists. I was in kind of I released one single under a different name, and I have features on a project under a different name.
What's that?
It's just under Stella.
Okay.
There's a lot of bitches on Spotify trying to release music under the name Stella. So I was like, okay, let's think of a second name. So that's why Stella Mar. But yeah, this is my first project. I don't want to say solo project because Nick has, just as much traction in it as I do, or just as much, I don't know.
Functionally, it's a solo project.
Yeah, but like this is the first project where I've written all of the songs, like lyrically.
Wow.
So it means like just so much to me. Very invested.
We need to get a marketing plan for this. It's so well produced. It's well mixed.
Thank you.
And shout out to our mix engineer Moses Ray Walker.
Yeah,
I love Moses. Moses and Lorelai. They were like my top first 10 interviews.
Awesome.
Yeah, they've both been really supportive, and Moses has been super helpful. And then Matthew.
Yeah.
Matthew mixed it.
Matthew, the king of the Seattle indie scene.
Yeah.
Wow.
Owns mastering in this area, and justifiably so. His work is amazing, and he's super affordable and really gives great feedback. So cannot thank Matthew highly enough.
So if you guys aren't really part of the music scene yet, how do you guys know these?
Okay,
people?
So our project manager Austin Santiago, like he knew all these people.
And then how'd you get a project manager? A lot of artists probably have no idea what the fuck that is.
That's such a good story.
A good story. So my father is very, very supportive of me. He always has been. Both my parents, my mom and dad, are super supportive. But my dad my dad's like pushy about it. So my dad's secretary knew Austin from high school. And my dad basically asked his secretary to bully Austin into taking a meeting with us. Not bully, but like she reached out to him.
Okay.
And we had one meeting with Austin. And then my dad was like, can you please project manage my daughter? And he was like, he listened to the demos we had and he thought we had enough potential to need the help to get it going. So that's kind of how we had this project manager. But like I was telling you before we started recording, like he managed the project and he helped us connect with so many sweet people. But now that we don't have that help anymore, we're kind of floating in the ether by ourselves.
But he tapped us into the Seattle scene.
He helped us. I mean, that's how we, that's how I got connected to Archie, to Gemma, to like all these super sick music industry professionals here.
Wow.
So yeah, Matthew too.
So how would you guys describe the album to like listeners first time? Like you went to a pop retreat and I was expecting it to sound more poppy, but it's almost a little jazzy even. There's like a little swing to it.
Yeah. So, okay, I'll take this one. So I wrote all the music just like when I had bouts of intense emotions, essentially. Like it's a breakup album.
Did you know someone with face tattoos, or is that an exaggeration?
No, that's a little bit of an exaggeration. But yeah, it's a breakup album. It is definitely just like I wrote the songs that came out kind of thing. And I would describe us as I'd describe me as a pop artist just because I don't know how else to define the genre. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of forgot your question. Yeah, we just kind of wrote all the songs individually, and we have there was like 4 or 5 more songs that Nick was like, maybe don't put this on this project. But yeah, kind of just me, really heartbroken, writing all these songs during the different stages of that heartbreak, and we put them all together.
Wow.
I would describe our sound as maybe, there's some trap pop, there's a straight up country ballad in there that just kind of got thrown in. There's maybe even like a rock ballad. I'd say How Little I Love You is close to that.
Yeah, I'd say it concerns me slightly that we're so varied in terms of stylistically, musically, at least on that project, just because it makes it like, what do you tag the project?
So it can be on all Billboard charts then, maybe.
It was a point of debate between the two of us, though, for real. Like, I wanted to release it as an album because of the like cohesion of emotions I felt writing it. Like, it was about one period in my life, so I wanted it to be one project. But Nick was like, I don't know, bro. These songs don't sound really anything like each other. Are you sure you want to put them on one project?
I was thinking like maybe a bunch of singles and then an EP or 2 maybe. But
I enjoyed it, man.
Thank
you. Yeah, I mean, I started singing as a like rock singer and like a bluesy, jazzy singer. Like, my best friend in high school, Audrey, I was singing like pop music, and then she got a hold of me and was like, bitch, you have to sing rock. Like, you have to sing classic rock. Like, I'd cover like Led Zeppelin and like classic rock bands.
Right.
So I think that's why the songs aren't really cohesive in terms of genre too, because my voice suits itself to one genre that I don't write for. So I'm kind of at war with like my voice and like when I'm writing. I don't know. Does any of that make any sense?
I don't know. I feel like you're really jazzy. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Is sequencing important to you guys then? If you feel like there wasn't cohesion, I feel like
sequencing was huge. Stella did that.
I feel like it fit perfectly in my opinion.
Thanks, bud.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I took a long time to think of the track list, like the order of the songs. My 2 friends, Georgia and Joe, helped me out a lot with that. But yeah, I think that the best way to listen to the project is in order, because I wrote all the songs out of order, but the way I've put them together is supposed to take you through this journey of like running away from one person and then like giving into temptations and like kind of
getting your toolkit out.
Yeah, kind of like going down your but like for real, like delving into your tool belt of different coping mechanisms, however negative they may be, and then reflecting on that person after you've already kind of fucked shit up for yourself more. And that's what like the latter half of the album is like getting into your head and like really thinking about this person. And then the final song is about like self-acceptance type of thing. So that's the cohesion of the album, is the like lyrical content. And everything else is just all over the place.
So how long have you guys been making music? Because it really seems like this isn't like a debut project.
That's good to hear.
Thank you. That's very
It seems
kind.
like you guys have been working together for a while.
We've certainly been playing together for a while. We had a band started in college that didn't really take off.
Oh.
But I mean, Stella, as soon as we met, I was like, oh, you're a singer. I'm a producer and guitarist and violinist and all that jazz. And like, we should work
Nick's a
together.
classically trained violinist. That's another thing.
So you can read music then?
Big
Oh,
time.
yeah.
So many artists I've been interviewing, I've been asking, do you know how to read music? And they're like, no.
It's cool that it doesn't matter anymore, right? It's like MIDI is king. So like, who cares about sheet music? But
Well, that's why we need like each other. Like I
Yeah,
don't
for
do
sure.
any of that. I'll be like, Nick, can you make my vocals sound like they're underwater, please, sir? And he's like, sure. And then he'll like do it. Or I'll be like, I don't know, it's not as like spacey as I want it to be. And he'll be like, all right, I'll translate that into something musical.
I love doing that. That's so much fun. Just taking like weird feedback
But
from
that's
artists.
that's the collaboration,
Mhm.
sure.
and we've been playing together. Yeah, so we graduated about a year ago. So we've been playing. We've been just like,
Thanks.
thank you. We've both been jamming together for like 5 years now.
Right.
But we started like seriously trying to write music about 2 years ago.
Wait, so what school did you go to and what were you going to school for?
We went to University of Puget Sound in Tacoma, and we actually both came to UPS from California. Stella's from Southern California. I'm from Northern California.
Mhm.
Really?
Yeah, so we moved up here to Tacoma, went to college. I came in as a music major. UPS has a killer music program. Decided maybe that like wasn't what I wanted to do full time, which is kind of, I don't know if that's ironic. It's certainly not what I'm doing full time right now, but I would love to be doing this full time. So whoops. But anyway, changed my major from music to economics and kept a music minor throughout college.
Oh, wow. So do you have a job in economics then? Or?
No, I have a job in the tech industry.
Okay. Big nerd.
Yes, big nerd, dude. I'm sort of moonlighting as a producer, and just trying to work with as many people as I can until maybe one day I have enough of a little roster going that I can do that full time. So.
Do you have a studio or anything? Or?
No, I got a laptop though. So.
Wait, so
We
how
made the
did-
project in our rooms. Both-
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, bedroom pop, right? It's a whole deal. Bedroom rap, bedroom pop. That's all you need
I mean,
these days.
most of this was recorded during the pandemic. So this is kind of fun. I don't know anything about mixing. So I would take my little microphone that I got gifted to me for graduation, record my vocal stems in GarageBand,
Yes.
and send my raw vocal. I'd send Nick like 7 or 8 vocal stems of just like layered harmonies and like everything, and be like, okay, please help now. And then he just take it from there. Like truly a collaborative effort. Me in my bedroom, him in his apartment in his bedroom. And
Wow.
For sure.
So do you
Yeah.
think it comes down to mixing and mastering?
Big time,
For
dude.
sure.
100%.
Really?
Yeah, I think you could take. I used to think it was all about producing. Like you could take any vocalist and then produce them and make a hit. And now I think you could take any production and mix them and make a hit.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that's what makes the difference today.
And do you know how to mix or you just know how to produce?
I learned how to mix throughout this project. I didn't mix the tracks on the album. Again, Moses was amazing at that, but I learned a lot from listening to him, and I think I've become a much better mixer. I'm still not as good as Moses, but definitely learned a ton. And the single that we have in the works, which is going to be our follow-up to the project,
Ooh.
is mixed by me. So
Oh, that's dope.
yeah,
Nick's debut mixing.
I know.
So
It's fun stuff.
when was the first conversation that you guys wanted to make music together, or even just talked about the fact that you guys
Great
both did
question.
music?
That's kind of a 2-part question, because music was a big part of my high school identity. I went to a really small private school where there was a lot of like just collaboration going on between artists. So when I got to college, I knew that like singing would be like pertinent for me staying happy in my life. So when I asked Nick what his major was and he said it was going to be music, like immediately I tried to like get myself into like being friends with him and playing with him. So we'd literally like sit on Nick's bed and like just jam random covers of things.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that we started writing music together like 2 years after that. Like I said, after sophomore year, I wrote How Little I Loved You about my first boyfriend. And I think it was the same thing. I just wrote the melody really quickly. At like 2 a.m. I was so mad about this person. And Nick
Was
and
that
I,
in Washington or was that in California?
Yeah, I was in Washington. And Nick and I were just jamming, like the same thing that we would usually do.
Mm-hmm.
Except for I was like, I may have written a little song. And so I sang it for him. And Nick's such a goat, like immediately came up with the chord progression and like started working on it. And we realized that we could have that. I don't think we thought to record it until I had written a few more songs.
And until our band sort of fell apart.
Yeah.
I think that was part of it. We were like, yeah, we want to be in a Stella wrote the song. I wrote the chords for How Little I Loved You as like a rock tune that we would play with a rock band.
Mhm.
And we had a rehearsal, maybe 2 rehearsals. And then it was just sort of things started fracturing and fragmenting. And you know how it is when you're trying to get a bunch of people to do something
In
with
college.
a bunch of different schedules.
Yeah.
And then we were like, well, we could just record it. So we did.
And how'd you find your voice? You have a very unique, raspy voice.
Thank you. I mean, I've always sounded like this. My dad makes a joke that the second I came out of the womb, I went, "Hello, Daddy," which is not true. I have far more of a feminine voice than that. But yeah, people would always say to me, they think that I'm sick or that I'm a smoker, and I'm neither sick nor a smoker. I've just always sounded like this.
Or a smoker.
Yeah. So this is kind of a fun little story. Someone like literally came to like deliver a package to me once, or I was in high school or whatever. He came to our door. And I opened it, and I was like, okay, thank you. I guess not in that tone of voice, but he like stepped back from me and was like, I don't want to get sick right now. And I was like, haha, okay, rude, and also false, but goodbye now.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, like I said, just kind of an evolution of going from not knowing what to sing to singing rock and pop. I started taking vocal lessons my freshman year of high school.
Oh.
So I have been like trained on how to like kind of harness the raspiness, but
That's dope.
yeah, I shout out to my vocal coaches Maddie and Eve. They've been such crazy supporters and really helped me find my voice. But yeah, I kind of know how to use it and when to use it now, and like know how to sing healthier.
That's dope.
Yeah.
So do you have the same coaches, or have they changed over the years, or?
I've had the same 2 vocal coaches for I guess over like I don't know, close to 15 years now.
And they're in California though, so you do things over Zoom, or?
Yeah,
what?
so in high school it was in person, and then during the pandemic, I don't see them super regularly anymore. But yeah, over Zoom now.
And would you recommend vocal coaches for any singer, or?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, my mom joked that I've always sung, like, I was the type of kid that was, like, on the fireplace hearth, like, singing, like, doing performances,
That's
you know?
a good word. I love the word. Hearth. Is it hearth, or whatever that is? I love that word.
I
love
know,
it
it's
too.
so
People
fun.
don't say it enough.
I
Sure.
agree. But yeah, my mom had always joked that I sounded like a dying cat and that I needed help.
God.
So yeah, I think that a lot of people can train their, like, I had to learn how to sing right. Otherwise I would just be like damaging my voice. Nick knows I sound like I'm screaming sometimes. He's been like, can we maybe record at your apartment so that you don't like piss off my neighbors?
Oh,
Sure.
God.
So yeah, I don't know. I think I have pretty good pitch, so you can't really, I mean, you guess you could learn to fix your pitch, but in terms of like learning the tool that is your voice, vocal coaching helps like a lot.
Did you guys meet Nicki Blell at the Pop Retreat?
Yeah.
Mhm.
What a goat.
This man sings all the time. Like, I'll have a conversation with him, and then like, mid-sentence he'll just start singing. So like at the Pop Retreat, how long was that? Like 3 weeks ago?
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
He couldn't perform
Right.
because he was singing too much just for fun. But-
Dude, we were literally listening to Nicki in the car on the way up here.
Yeah.
His music bumps, no doubt about it.
I've saved like a lot of those people's music, a
Yeah.
lot of the Seattle music homies. They're real good.
For sure.
Yes, I didn't realize there was a pop scene here, but it's
Who knew?
It's very
I feel like it's
Small.
pretty small and niche, but yeah,
Mhm.
there's some talented people.
yeah.
Do you like pop music? Or?
Yeah, it's funny because I sort of had a disdain for it when I was young and annoying.
I brought him to the dark side.
She did. And so I was like listening to this pop music and I was like, pop music's stupid. Like, I only like cool stuff.
That's like, or no, you finish first.
Please.
I was just gonna say that's kind of how we bonded first as friends.
For
is
sure.
We would show each other what we used to call like good bad music, and essentially just pop music that doesn't have a lot of substance, but you can't help but go back and just bump it because it's
Yeah.
addictive almost. So
Yeah,
yeah,
But there's like high produced pop music, like The Weeknd.
for
even.
sure. I mean, everything you hear on the top charts is just the mixing and mastering budget is just out of control.
Wow.
That's really what makes a difference. So
So do you think someone at home could make a same song as like a Kid Leroy and Justin Bieber? or
I
no?
think somebody at home could produce a song like Kid Leroy and Justin Bieber, but then if you handed it over to, multi platinum award-winning mix engineers, then yeah, it could totally go viral.
Could you break down a little bit of what mixing and mastering is for
sure,
the normies?
Yeah, it'd be great because it's something I've been learning as well. For all you normies out there, so producing is when you just take whatever, like violin and guitar and keys, and you put them in a song. And then mixing, you adjust. Usually it's just volume and spaciousness adjustments. And by volume, you could make the high end of something louder or the low end of something louder or the whole track louder. So things sound brighter, darker, they sound more spacious, they sound more closed, they sound more open, and they sit better together. So that's what mixing is. And then mastering is also small adjustments like that, and then just making it loud as hell.
But you need stems. Like you couldn't just have someone's SoundCloud song and just give it to them, and then could they mix and master that?
No way. You can master it. So you can master from a stereo mix, but you can't mix from just one track.
So you do it to each
stems.
Individual thing, right? You'll mix the drums, you'll mix the guitar, then you'll mix the vocals.
For sure.
And that's like more than half. It's like half the battle or more.
I think so, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, you hear our demos versus the final project, and they sound very, very different.
Moses added a lot of awesome stuff to our project. So
I'm still confused. Like, why'd you guys choose pop out of?
That's a good question. I mean,
what else would we have chosen?
I wouldn't really.
Hip hop. My name is Stella. I have an umbrella.
Yeah, that's bars.
That's fire. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't even really consider like the project like a true. Okay, I could talk about pop music and the definition of what pop music is for hours and hours. I've even considered writing an essay just for funsies about pop music. So I'm going to try to not talk a lot about this. But I would consider our album a pop album just because I don't really know what else to call it. But I would say that like calling something a pop song doesn't confine it to a certain genre. Like Dominic Fike isn't pop. Like technically, if you look at his like album, his most recent one, it says alternative, but I'd consider that album to be like an alt pop album. I don't know. I think pop kind of means whatever you want it to now.
Totally. I mean, if you look at like the top 50 on Spotify or whatever, you have like hard hip hop, like Post Malone type stuff, and then like this weird, like indie rock, Manskin type thing, and
like,
then what you think of as like pure pop, like Billy type stuff.
Well, even like Doja Cat, I think like people would consider her like a pop star, but she's also definitely like a hip hop artist and a rapper. So like the lines are blurry now. Even Ariana Grande is like leaning heavy into like hip hop production in her most recent albums. Like I think the evolution of like what we consider to be pop music is like so fascinating. And then you have like hyper pop and bedroom pop. There's just simply a million ways to make pop music right now, and I think that's super fun and super sick.
And like pop bands and like rock pop, is that what you say?
Yeah,
rock, that's pretty big. That's like blown up in Seattle right now, actually.
Yeah, I think the band angle is something super interesting that I haven't really thought about a whole ton, but like pop bands.
Oh, I just had a pop band on.
Yeah,
that's sick.
Them, that's their name.
Yeah,
it's like I should have asked them on the podcast, but so people know. But it's basically just each of their first names.
I looked them up. Yeah, they've got some cool stuff going on.
Yeah. So what makes up like a normal pop song? Like what are some elements you need?
That's a great question. I would say you need a catchy hook, something that will get stuck in people's heads. You need, I feel like that might be it.
I think what you...
I think, no, I'm dead serious though.
That's funny.
I think technically that might be it.
I'm going to add something. I think you need a catchy hook and just top tier mixing and mastering. And that's it.
And look attractive.
And then you're done.
No, but that's kind of true though. You need like a brand, you need branding, you need like a look, I guess, and you need something that will like kind of earworm into people's heads. I think I've had this debate with my dad a lot because he doesn't think he likes pop music. And when I showed him demos of the album that we were working on, he was like, I don't know, it's just like not really my thing. I don't think like it's very interesting or like complicated. And I was like, okay, give us a second. This is like the first little iteration of it. And then when we started adding more like Adlib, I think Adlibs are important in pop too.
Like
I
the
know you think ad-libs are
like
important.
that.
Nick
Or-
and I have a debate about Adlibs.
Stella leans pretty heavily. Stella puts ad-libs in tracks like a hip-hop artist.
Oh,
but
like
they're
the-
pop music.
like when you're like shitting on the guy, like the
I like Adlibs.
you dick or whatever, like that stuff, or what do
Yeah,
you-
stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
but-
like Adlibs. I like Ashley Co kind of Adlibs. I think they're fun.
Oh
Such
my
a
god,
girl.
I fucking saw her in concert.
How was that? I bet it was bizarre.
She's like a TikTok. I don't. Do you guys like?
I
I
low-key
love Ashley
Really?
am
Co.
obsessed with
Yeah,
Ashley.
we like
Co.
I just. I don't. I guess
We
I wasn't
like her.
expecting her. I feel like she's for little girls, but
She is, dude.
She's
I wouldn't
so
go to a Nash Nika show, but I will bump that.
Nick and I bump Ashley.
she opened. You know Danny Brown.
I don't think so.
He's a hip hop artist. And
I've
for,
heard the name, but I don't.
for
yeah.
some reason, she opened up for Danny Brown,
That's weird.
and then I look around and I realize half the. I went for Danny Brown, and I look in the audience, and half the people are for her. They're all like 13-year-olds. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, very
Yeah.
odd.
Dude, I saw a Brockhampton concert and 100 Gex opened for them, and I was like, what is going on right now?
Dude.
It was so weird.
So, do you guys have plans on like performing these songs live at any venues, or how do you?
Once again, we don't have. I would love to do that. I'd love that, but we don't have. Tacoma doesn't have that much of a music scene unless it's a house show.
So you guys live in Tacoma, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay.
If anyone in Seattle wants to book Nick and I, we would love to play some shows.
I don't think we have the kind of like traction that would justify a major booking or even a minor booking at this point.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
mean, to put this delicately, like Nick and I don't have any clout at all. Like, we got our music, we got the confidence, but we don't really have the connections or like the in yet into any sort of. We certainly don't have an in the Seattle scene at all because we don't know
Well,
that many people.
We know a few movers and shakers in the highly developing pop Seattle scene.
And then in Tacoma, like, yeah, it's really just there's not a lot. You can play at like some coffee shops or some bars.
Yeah.
Or some house shows.
There
and
aren't
that's
any
about it.
studios in Seattle or in Tacoma, excuse me,
Mm-mm.
which is
Oh
pretty
yeah,
zany.
there are. There are tons. You
Yeah,
guys
but
just-
they're like people's garages and stuff, right?
No, there's some pretty dope studios from my experience at least. Like some of them,
You see, we don't know.
some that I've been to are in houses, but it's like their whole downstairs is like just for like recording. Like it's a full on like downstairs studio. Like there's like some houses that you'll drive by in Tacoma that are like in just like terrible neighborhoods, and you just think these are just like low income places, and you go in and like they have like thousands upon thousands of dollars of equipment.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
saying there's no music scene in Tacoma. There's actually a pretty sick like hip hop underground hip hop scene in
Yeah,
Tacoma.
the most recent people to like get signed are out of Seattle. I mean, out of Tacoma.
Yeah, it's definitely there. Nick and I just like
I'll help you
don't
guys.
really know.
Please, dude.
And there's not a lot of, from what I know, there's not a lot of pop stuff going on.
Yeah, that's you get. I don't even know how this pop retreat came to be. Like, how did you guys hear about it? And
Dude.
like,
I made it my mission to just like follow as many like emerging pop artists in Seattle as I could on Instagram. I saw Emma post like, "Hey, I'm doing a little thing. If you want to play for some other artists, hit me up." And I was like, "Yo,
Nick
Stella."
DM'd me.
We
I
got this.
DM'd Emma, and then we showed up there. It was very, very like twist of fate type thing.
That's the thing that can only happen because the pop scene in Seattle is so small.
it's like a
Mhm.
bat signal for pop.
For
artists.
sure.
Low key.
That was like all the pop artists almost.
That was it, dude.
I think
Somebody blew a conch horn and then
yeah,
we're on our way.
that's what happened.
For
Yeah,
sure.
and Nick and I walked up with our like one case of White Claw. And we were like, "Hello,
So good.
we're here to play 3 songs. I
Wow.
hope you."
We had a
like
great
that."
time though, and all those people are super nice. So
Mhm.
very chill.
We'll figure it out for
Yeah,
you
dude.
guys. But you guys haven't even been like an actual studio yet, or
No. I recorded I recorded a cover of Sitting on the Dock of the Bay in San Diego at actually what turned out to be a buddy of ours, his studio. And that's it.
I don't think that major artists start in studios.
Hot take.
What do you think?
I think it's changed. Like the people I'm about to have on next, like their first song was like in the studio,
Mm-hmm.
like because they're like the beginning of like hip hop.
Yeah,
So
that
I
was
feel
in like the 80s though.
Yeah.
right?
So I feel like in the 80s, you of course you had to be in a studio.
Right, because you can't record in your bedroom.
I mean,
right?
think
Right.
Billie Eilish recorded her whole
2 of the biggest albums
of all biggest pop records of all time.
in
Yeah.
Phineas's bedroom on
Yeah.
a freaking MacBook.
We're definitely trying to be on some Billy and Phineas shit.
That's still like $1,000 for that MacBook.
That's true.
100%.
That's true, dude. It's the major investment.
You need the equipment for sure.
Is a mic and a laptop and a interface.
Well, that's the whole thing, right? Is like what we're saying is like a home studio. You can get equipment that's like better than anything was like in the 80s.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, it was all analog. You needed like all this space to record anything.
Oh, you guys, have you watched This Is Pop on Netflix?
No, but
Nick just recommended that to me yesterday.
Really need to watch
I think I'd really like it.
It'll inspire you guys a lot.
I can't wait.
So do you guys have like family here even? Or are you guys just here like...
No, dude, we moved out here for college. And I don't know, Nick, you can say why you stuck around.
I stuck around because it's dope. My parents actually moved up here after I was here for a couple of years because they came to visit me and they were like, "Man, this area is really awesome." I was like, "Yeah, it is pretty awesome." So California is sort of a tough place to be right now, I think. I know
fires and COVID or what?
Fires, cost of living, COVID. It's just like
the homeless people are worse than Seattle somehow.
It's pretty gnarly to be in California, which is a bummer that LA is such like a mecca for artistic pursuits. But so came up here and I was like, man, it's not on fire. There's water everywhere.
You can drink it.
You can drink the water. I don't have to feel bad about like taking a shower because there's not a freaking drought every dang summer.
Dude, I just went home and the drinking water in San Diego tastes so disgusting. It's fucked.
You get bougie about water if you grow up here.
Yeah.
No doubt. And so I decided to stick around for a minute. I'm looking at potentially thinking about living other places in the near future. But
in Washington or outside of Washington?
All options. I think moving to Seattle would make a lot of sense for me. I think moving to Portland would make some sense, so we'll just see what happens.
Ooh.
I'm kind of in the same boat. Like literally after my lease ends in May, I'm kind of just going to go wherever I think would be good for music career.
And what do you do for money right now?
money right now.
What's your job?
Music,
Nick and I made $4 each last month.
Really?
On stream revenue.
Oh shit! How many streams is that?
It's like
it's like 6,000 streams. It's like
but
$4.
that's no. That was just for May, so that was like 1,000 streams.
Oh really?
It's like $9 collectively, and
shit, that's pretty dope.
Yeah, but
So
Buy Starbucks, two Starbucks drinks.
I know, for sure.
So the answer is not music. I was nannying for a while, and then I got laid off when the summer hit just because they didn't need a nanny. It was a COVID job basically.
Mm-hmm.
So the answer is currently nothing, but I'm going to try to get a job as a bartender in Tacoma if anyone wants to hire me.
And how do you guys feel about COVID right now?
Obviously bad.
It's a bummer.
It's a bummer.
It's tragic.
Yeah, I mean, obviously super tragic and not ideal for literally anyone, but it definitely...
For Jeff Bezos, it's ideal.
Yeah.
True that.
It helped birth this album, that's for sure.
For sure.
Just kind of alone in my feelings, and I wrote most of the album, so...
It's a dope album, gotta say.
Well, thanks, bud.
Yeah, thank you.
So, what do you do in tech?
I work at the tech department of the college that we went to because
Oh.
I worked there part-time as a student, and then a full-time position came up as I was about to graduate, like into what we thought was like the height of the pandemic, right? May 2020. And they were like, you should apply to this job. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to apply to this job. So I've just been working there for a year doing tech support for like faculty and staff at the same college that we used to go to.
Oh, wow.
It's not exactly like what I would call a passion of mine, but it definitely pays the bills.
That's dope.
Yeah.
I've been telling people we should like connect all these different communities, especially with artists, you know, like you guys should be collaborating with like bands, rappers, and I tell people about like the tech stuff that's going around in Seattle, but then I just had a producer on the digital and he was saying people do reach out to the tech people and they just don't get responses. So I don't know.
Like, what do you mean by the tech people? Like producers or?
No, like actual like people in the tech industry in Seattle, like Amazon, Microsoft, like we should be like somehow collaborating with them, whether it's like sponsorships or having all those, if you get like Amazon should get like free tickets or like discounted tickets or something if they bring out their employees to these local shows or something.
Yeah, they should.
That'd be amazing.
But there's a lot of stuff we can do.
Yeah, that's
Sure.
why people keep asking me that like don't know a lot about like streaming revenue and just like music in general, like how I'm gonna make my money. And the answer is like
OnlyFans.
Guess so.
I would be lying if I said I hadn't thought about it. But no, for real, like you either have to be like selling merch or getting paid to do shows, or someone needs to like buy the rights to use your song in something. Like that's it. You can't just like make money from streaming.
It's a little different for producers and mix engineers and stuff because
true.
they take on a bunch of like project-based work.
That's true.
You guys always have like opportunities, I feel like.
I think so. It's one of those things where there are always opportunities, but it's also just like I've been talking about, like this entire industry is word of mouth. So if you don't have those connections, it can be tough to start.
Word of mouth and clout. It sucks, but it is like.
What do you guys mean what do you mean clout? What do you mean by that?
Let's break it down.
This is the truth.
CLOUT.
I just like. I think, unfortunately, people look at your numbers, whether that's your monthly listeners on Spotify, your streams on Spotify, or your Instagram followers or TikTok followers. Like, you need clout on social media or on streaming, and I know that's a fact because I like recently hit 1,000 followers on Instagram, which is nothing, but people have started paying attention to me more since then. And I think that's stupid and absolutely fucked, but it's true. Mm-hmm. Like, people pay attention more when they think that if they think that you're somebody, even if that somebody is like
that's what I
tiny.
Remember. Pretty Awkward, who was just on the show.
Oh, the
great
fucking
episode.
blue check mark.
Talking about the blue check mark and people being like, "Oh, I should respond to this DM since they have a freaking blue check mark."
It's unfortunately means something in this industry. Yeah,
it's the 6 degrees of separation, which I really don't know what that means, but I know everyone says that, and I know it has something to do with how close you are to someone famous.
With Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon. But yeah, they think that you're almost somebody because you know 1,000 people.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyways, I get like mad thinking about it, but.
I mean, I had a really great conversation with a dude who runs a Seattle studio recently because I was kind of fishing for a job. But instead, he just gave me a bunch of dope advice, which was like, if you're not in this to just make stuff and put it out there, regardless of how well it's doing, then you should quit because it's really not a good motivating factor to be like, this needs to get several 100,000 streams, otherwise I'm a failure. It's like, that's not going to happen. So just make art, just make it and put it out and just see what happens.
But then what happens once you start reaching those like several 100,000 streams and then you don't get that? Then are you a failure or what?
I mean,
I don't know, man.
I think that I feel like how do I word this eloquently? I feel like you'll never stop reaching for more. Like, even like one of our singles hit 1,000 streams, and that was like literally my goal. Or not even my goal, but like, I wanted that.
I really wanted to get something that would break out of the less than 1,000.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate that so much. The fucking less than. That's like the most.
I know. It's a bit demeaning.
Yeah, for sure.
But once we hit that, and I was so proud of us. I was like, okay, when's that 2,000 coming? Like, you'll always be looking for like more numbers and more things like that. I have a note in my phone right now that's like small interactions about my music that gave me like validation, and it's literally about like genuine people reaching out being like, I like this lyric you wrote really spoke to me, or like this, that, the other thing. Because at the end of the day, like, the music I wrote came from like the last song, Adored. Like, I like almost cry every time I hear it, because like that song is like so. It was me basically like cracking open my chest and like pouring it out. So I think that what you have to remember is, if you're making music like that, which I am, like, you have to be thankful for like the small times that people say that what you wrote like really connected to them. And I think people get really wrapped up, including me, in the numbers, in the clout chasing, whatever. And that's a real dangerous game to play. Like, I don't know. That's all I'll say about that.
There's just gotta, like, I've been having artists who are like have songs on TV, Netflix, movies, or whatever, and they're not huge whatsoever. So like, I don't know. I feel like there's people that know what to do, even if they don't have a big following. I keep telling people we need to form like a community.
I think you're doing that, but
I mean, the fact that we're like sitting here right now.
NAST podcast.
No, for real. You were like, hey, I thought you guys sounded dope. Do you want to come on my podcast? And we were like, holy shit, yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah,
like,
let me say thanks again for having us in the same chairs as huge artists that you
like you're I think you're doing more for the local music scene than you think.
Well, thank you.
For sure.
Yeah.
I wonder, I've been really thinking about this. This is a deep topic.
Okay, let's go.
Everyone that comes into the studio sits like this, like how we're sitting right now.
Whoa. Legs crossed.
But do you guys normally sit like this just when you're like hanging out, or
Yes.
like
Yeah.
really?
Do you not?
I feel like I only do it when I'm at the studio. I feel like I'm a very big man spreader, you know? But I feel like it's inappropriate if you're just talking to people where there's no table to just be like, hey guys. But so you guys normally sit like this is a comfortable position?
Well, I'm a lady, so I tend to
I sit with my legs crossed big time.
Is that like, so it's just a normal thing everyone does?
I think this might be a you problem, buddy.
But because when you look at it, how is this even comfortable?
I don't know.
Try
It is
it.
kind of amazing that it works.
Try crossing all the way over.
I think that's less comfortable.
Yeah. There we go.
You should maybe get some beanbags or something. Have you thought about that?
I was told
I don't want to sit on a beanbag.
Come on.
I was told never to buy bean bags off like Craigslist.
No.
No.
Yeah, I didn't realize people do unspeakable things on bean bags. I thought bean bags were just for kids to like sit
Very
on.
wholesome outlook, my friend.
Yeah, that is nice.
Because they're all bright, colorful colors, and I just so I've been staying away from bean
That's
bags.
probably safe. Probably for the best.
So, what is your guys' favorite song on the album? I'm guessing you each have a different favorite song. Or?
Big time.
That's a good question. Do you have an answer?
Yeah, mine's White Noise for sure.
Explain why.
The fucking one. No.
I really am happy with how that tune turned out in terms of just like bass line and drums, and I was like sequencing that, and I was like, man, this bass line is kind of banging. And I didn't used to be a bass player, but then I picked it up because I was hearing a lot of funky bass that I just loved. Bass is so powerful, it's so awesome, and I just tried to make a bass line that was like as fun and funky as I could, and sequence some slapping drums, and then Stella threw a killer hook on it.
I was very angry when I wrote it.
It shows. And also it's like not a
It's a very quotable album, by the way.
thank you,
Oh,
bud.
thank you.
That's great. Yeah, all kudos to Stella. But it's not like an intro, verse, chorus, chorus, bridge, chorus song. It's like an A-B song, which I think is really cool. That's my favorite.
I've been not sticking to song structure at all lately.
That's great. I think in the TikTok era, it's like song structure is sort of out the window. So
It's true. Yeah,
Yes.
speaking of quotable, if you have any ideas on how to make TikTok sounds marketable, I need help with that. But
Look into
Yeah.
the camera.
please
Help us.
help us. Yeah, I will say before I answer the question, Nick tracked everything like on the album. Like he didn't use any samples, right?
no.
Wow.
So any instrument you hear, Nick recorded it and did it.
So you know how to play the drums too?
The drums I programmed, like I used drum synthesizers to
Okay.
get the drum sounds instead of getting samples, which was kind of maybe stupid, but
No,
that
that's
sounds good.
dope.
Thank you, dude.
That I feel like the more you know how to do, it makes you a better artist.
I agree. Thanks. Yeah, that's why. Yeah, I think I do know how to play the drums. I'm not good at them, but I think knowing how to play the drums will make you a way better producer in terms of sequencing drums. But back to you, please.
Okay, my favorite song on the album. I don't really have that. Okay, what do you mean though? Favorite in what way?
What do you like the best?
Yeah, what's your favorite song?
I don't know if I have an answer for that. I think that like the singles we put out, Fairweather Friend or White Noise, are definitely the most like.
Or you had to play Glimpse
Boppable.
also. That was a.
I'm
single,
surprised
too.
that people have been vibing with Glimpse so much because it is sort of like
I mean, it's sad, but
sad ass song
it's really sad. But I mean, I think people are connecting with it, which I'm obviously really grateful for.
for sure.
I think the most surprising, the sleeper song on that album is Gray Area Guy.
Mm.
I think that song is my favorite because it's the song that surprised me the most. I wrote it with just like it's literally 2 chords on the ukulele is what it started as. And then when I was recording it, I like added just like really intentional layered harmonies that like built. And Nick went and did like some crazy production, and it ended up sounding like so epic and cool when like I wrote it as kind of like a cheeky, almost like ironic little song about like someone that you're not really that you're not that into, but you keep coming back to them for some reason. So I tried to write a pop song that mimicked that. It's kind of like an pop song that gets stuck in your head, so you keep coming back. and then it like built into this.
It's deep when you think about
It's
it.
it's a bit deep when you think
It's
about
very
it.
dope.
Not as deep as the leg crossing thing.
Yeah,
but
it's
maybe
the
close.
most deepest thing that man has ever thought of. It's better, deeper than the wheel, you know?
Yeah.
True.
So I think that one, or How Little I Loved You, because that's the first one I
That
wrote.
song's so dope.
Thank you. Yeah,
That's
I wrote
better.
that at 2 a.m. and I wrote it in like 10 minutes. Like that one has a lot of emotion behind it.
There we go. Well,
Thank you for listening to them, by the way.
I
Yeah.
loved
That's
it.
very
It was
sweet. of you.
awesome.
So, yeah.
I think your album cover made it, for me at least, because I'm very like visual, made it so maybe if you guys don't think it's cohesive or not, I think because like your album cover was like Picasso like,
Mm-hmm.
maybe I kind of mentally thought
Hmm.
if there wasn't a cohesion, that was the point because of how it reflected the album cover.
Yeah, thank you for
So,
pointing
That's
that
also
out.
pretty deep.
That was really intentional, though. We worked with a collage artist, Cruz Graphic Designs.
There we
She's
go.
so sick, but
Extremely good.
I talked to her on the phone for about an hour, and that's why the song's called White Noise, or the album is called White Noise too, is because
Is that you, by the way, that's cut up on the front?
yeah. So I actually preliminarily did that part. I like made my eyes and my lips bigger just because I thought it would look cool, and then all the pictures on that album.
Or was it because society wants you to have bigger lips and bigger?
Whoa.
That's a bit deep too. When you think about it. But yeah, and then I gave Cruz just some pictures I took, like the picture of the building I took in Spain, and if you see the people walking on the building, that's a picture I took at the beach, and she like put them all together. But that's what white noise is, right? Is it's a bunch of static sounds that come together to create one cohesive sound. And that's kind of the point of the album too,
Wow.
and the cover.
Isn't white noise what are in headphones to block out outside
Yeah.
noise?
Yeah, I was thinking more too of just like, the static that you play, like the shh, like that sound.
The quietness if we don't talk. You can,
Mm-hmm.
there it is. My one of my friends and artists, Trey Ross. Oh, I'm doing this cool. I can't talk about that. It's a surprise.
I want
But
to hear about
we
it.
were at the studio the other day, and he was making fun that tons of people like to whisper on this podcast for some reason. Like to whisper. So what's your best whispering voice?
I think it's maybe because the headphones they sound really good, so we can just hear ourselves.
You can hear the sound of your own voice very, very easily.
For sure.
Society.
A lot of artists are self-centered, so they like to hear the sound of their own
Damn.
voice.
Oh.
That's another deep.
That's a little
dive.
deep if you think about it.
What studio were you at the other day?
Oh shit. I don't even know the name of it. It's shout out the Digital. He was on the podcast recently.
Yeah.
And we have this cool thing coming out that will be announced on the podcast anniversary, which is in 2 weeks.
Yo, congratulations.
August 18th. So
Fire.
be on the lookout for that, guys.
Very
well.
sick.
But what do you guys what would you guys like to promote before we get out of here?
Well, listen to our album, White Noise, please. On all platforms now. White Noise by Stella Mar. We're shooting a music video coming up soon. Don't know when that'll come out. Be on the lookout. You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok and Twitter at Stella Mar with 3 R's. That's about it for me.
Yeah. And we've got a single coming out soon, probably in like 6 or 8 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
That we're excited about too. Sort of follow up to the album.
It's kind of the biggest banger we've written.
I think it's a pretty big banger. I'm
Yeah.
stoked about it. So thank you if you are listening, and if you haven't listened to the album or
Check it out.
Yo, that was crazy.
That's sick. Wait, plug your own music.
I also write music under the name Nicolas K.Z, and that's my Instagram.
And
as
how do you
well.
spell that?
NICOLAS _ K.Z. That's Instagram, and Spotify is just Nicolas K.Z. So
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Stella Mar is STELLAMARRR on Instagram, or just Stella Mar with 1 R on Spotify.
well,
And what is some advice you each have for up and coming artists, creators, influencers?
I don't know about the influencer thing. I'm not good at that, but in terms of like making music, I'd say just like find your sound, find what you want to do, and find your voice if you have a specific one, and then find people that just want to like lift you up and make music with you. Like Nick and I joke all the time that whenever we like work together, we're just like hyping each other up the whole time, because like we both genuinely believe in each other's talent, and I think that's really important, especially because if you end up putting it out, people are going to shit on you all the time from every angle. So if you have like if you're making stuff that you really believe in, that you can slap your name on proudly, like it's gonna help a lot when all of the haters come at you.
When all that white noise comes.
Yo.
I'd say my advice is just find the thing that you really like to do and then do it a bunch, which is sort of like practicing, but it doesn't have the sort of like turmoil that I associate with practicing, because I used to practice violin a lot and it was terrible. But sort of like find what you love and do it a ton so that you get really good. And then once you get really good, good things will happen.
You guys should have like a duo name. Like, you guys know like Fantagram or like any of those people?
Sylvanessa.
We could. I like the idea of like a Billie Eilish, Phineas type of situation where he's just sort of like the one producing and she just goes in there and whispers into the microphone and then it's a bajillion songs.
That was some shady shade.
I mean, it works. I love Billie Eilish, so.
That was some shade. Well,
that's fair.
This is the NAST podcast with
Stella Mar
and
Nicolas K.Z.
And you guys are
Stella Mar.
Stella Mar.
Thanks for having us.
There we go.
Thank you.